So you are most welcome to AIN. Actually, AIN should be your home, but I have to welcome you. And I'm happy to have my sisters here. And in fact, if I want to introduce them, I'll not finish. So I'll give them a chance to introduce themselves, tell us everything about themselves.
Okay, so I want to start. Firstly, thank you, Dr. Bakuri, Dr. M, that's how you are known by your audience, for having me and my sisters here. So my name is Linda Chipatiso. And I'm I come from Zimbabwe, in Africa, which is in Southern Africa. And I work at the University of Amsterdam. I teach there. And what else? Yeah, I mean, no, I'm not gonna say my age. So for now, that's where
maybe I should start guessing. Yes.
Let's end this.
That should be another conversation.
Yes. Dr. Hailey.
I'm highly not yet doctor. Thank you
very
much. Very soon. That's what my sisters tell me. So Dilys Asamoah Amoabeng. I'm a Ghanaian and from West Africa, Ghana. I'm married. Whenever I say I'm married, and also female. When I say that, people are like, why do you be specific? Yes, because you have to be specific as to what you are, whether you are a male or female or whatever sex. And also, I'm a principal research assistant at the University of Cape Coast, Ghana, but currently trying to finish up with my PhD at the University of Amsterdam. Thank you.
Dr. Ruzibiza.
My name is Yvette Ruzibiza. I'm from Rwanda. I've been living in the Netherlands since 2013. I came here to do my master's, and yeah, I'm then went to something else. Then I did my PhD. So happy to call myself Dr. Ruzibiza. And yeah, so I'm happy to be on this platform today and looking forward to the discussion.
Okay. Thank you all. Interesting, you talked about that you are a doctor and you are proud to call yourself a doctor. Could you share like how you ended in the Netherlands of all places?
I mean, my journey to the Netherlands was I was interested in continuing education, and then I looked up scholarship because obviously I come from
a very rich family.
Not rich family, so my parents couldn't afford to send me to school,
to college, to do your master's.
Yeah, so I had to look for
outside. Maybe they could send you to do your master's if it were in.
I don't know, because I mean my education profile also has been very interesting because I have always I was always on scholarship, so I don't know if I can
just like any of us.
It's lucky or
you are blessed.
But yeah, and the journey that took me to PhD, that's how it will be for another day. Thank
you. So what brought you to the Netherlands?
Okay, so what brought me to the Netherlands? I came here 2016 to do my PhD, and I was coming from South Africa, where I was staying with my family, and as I said, I'm from Zimbabwe, so I moved from Zimbabwe to South Africa in 2008-9, just like any other migrant. And because
are you a migrant? I'll come back to it. So you finish with the story.
I'm a person who moves, so I'm a mobile person. So I moved 2009. That's when I went to South Africa. And that's where I did my master's at university, and then I was working for NGOs in South Africa. And then at some point I was tired of working and I was looking for something else outside. And then that's when I got this call to study masculinities in the Netherlands. And I thought, why not try? So because there was a scholarship to it, so I applied for it, and yes, and then I got admitted. But then I didn't have scholarship. Initially I have scholarship from the Netherlands, and then my soon-to-be supervisor advised me to apply at the National Research Foundation in South Africa. So I applied there, and this was in August, and they were supposed to tell me in October. It took very long because at that time, I don't know if you understand South Africa, what has been happening. That's when the fees must fall. Like, it was just a lot that was happening. But then eventually they responded, and I got a scholarship from the South African government to come and study here. So I came in 2016 with my family, with my 3 kids and my husband, and I began my PhD in 2016. And so that's how I came here.
I find it interesting that you said you were tired and you decided to do a PhD when you were tired.
Yeah. Well, actually, I didn't know what it is.
Tired of AGU, where's some for PhD?
I really didn't know what a PhD entailed. I just thought, but after that, if you had told me, maybe I would have. But here's the thing, the interesting thing is I also took PhD as a job. And what I told myself, even at that time, the PhD, the scholarship was going to offer me a little less than I was earning. So I was like, why can't I just take it? And then after 4 years, I have a title to it. Like, there was no difference. The only difference was that after working for 4 years, I'll be having a title. So even to do my PhD, that's how I took it as well. I just took it as a job that I'm gonna do. And though at some point I couldn't care about the title, like I was just so fed up. I just wanted
We relate.
To be handled.
But as I said, I will not talk about it. But I can relate.
Yes. So, Dilys, can you tell us how you came to the Netherlands?
Maybe just a brief, and then maybe like Yvette, Dr. Ruzibiza said, some other time we'll have a full conversation on the journey to the PhD and how far we've got into. Like we've all said, I also schooled back in Ghana. I did both my bachelor's and my master's at the University of Cape Coast.
You really love University of Cape Coast.
That is the University of choice. You don't understand? Yes, so that's the University of choice. When you go to Ghana, we have different and various government universities. That's the University of choice. It's UCC. So that is where I schooled. We don't want to start any argument. So I schooled there. I did my bachelor's there in economics and sociology. After that, in Ghana, normally when you finish with your bachelor's, you have to do your national service. So I then enrolled into, I was taken on with a banking institution, that's Commercial Bank, where my father had worked all his years, about 45 years. So I went to do my service there for 1 year. But after the service, they wanted to take me on. So I was also there for another year, 2 years. But like Linda said, I stayed there. I said, no, this is not what I want. This is not the environment I want to live my life, like all the time in the cage, talking to customers. But I saw that people enjoy, talking to me. And being there, I saw a lot of people coming in. So I said, okay, what I'm observing, I should maybe study further about it. So I said, okay, I'm going to do my master's. And my father is the type who really likes education. So if you say education, it's like, okay, you can go. Then you can leave the job and go and do whatever you want to do. So I then applied for the master's. I did something on women access to banking services, why they were not coming to the banking and why then they started coming when I was there. So I find out a lot of things about that. So after that, then I said, do I really want to go back again to implement what I found? I said, nay, I don't want that. I want to do more. I like the nay. I am claiming citizenship. So then, So being at the university, I was taken on as a research assistant, and then the university system, the hierarchies and things. You work, but without a position, a title, like we're saying, then you are not worth anything. And I also got the opportunity that the department wanted to establish this anthropology department at my university because we only have a sociology department, but we do teach anthropology courses there. So I said, why not? If there's any opportunity with that, I will take it. So luckily, I saw this advertisement calling for anthropology PhD, and I said, wow, let me take it. But that journey was another thing. It was just last minute, like a day or two for the deadline. But hey, if it's yours, then it's yours. So I applied for it, and here I am today, still struggling.
You are not
finished.
The way you are looking, you don't look like someone who is struggling.
Yes, I don't look because I have my sisters always here, and I know that I will definitely get there. It's a process, and I think we will discuss about that. Thank you.
Okay, so I have, since you've shared a bit about your PhD journey, and I was wondering if someone wants to do a PhD, will you say yes or no? And why?
I would say yes, really, because after that you become doctor.
So you're just a doctor?
It depends why they want to do the PhD, right? So if, to be honest, I know I complain that, it's been a hard journey, but just like everything in the job that I was doing, so nothing is easy really, so you have to work for it. So if someone wants to become a doctor and they want to do it, then I would say yes, go for it. But if they want to do it maybe to make money, maybe this is not the right, because you work and you become a doctor, but it doesn't translate into dollars. Like the title doesn't translate into dollars or euros. But if you enjoy having the status of the title of being a doctor, and if you also enjoy just academia, like research, being critical, writing, then this is your place. So yeah. And if you were to ask me would I do it again, I'll say yes. I'm making a second PhD.
Oh, you are considering a second PhD?
Look at how Dr. Ruzibiza is like, really?
What?
I mean, I don't know, I'm just removing myself a little bit from that conversation because I'm not going to talk about how the process to the PhD, but maybe just to add on, if I have to advise someone to do it, I'll say it depends on where you're coming from. Like I'm someone who loves to contribute. Like contribute in anything that I'm doing. If it's the work I was doing was in an NGO, I was always proud when I see change, and to me change it felt good, right? So the same reason that to do PhD, like because we are not just doing research for the sake of doing research. We do research for knowledge production. We do research to be able to put ourselves out there, like be critical, write, publish, and people can have access to that knowledge. I feel like that is something that I'm proud that I have done, and I would definitely recommend someone to do that. But the whole process and what goes on when you're doing PhD, it's it also depends, and I mean those are discussions that I'm not entering. But to just as a proof that it's something nice, like currently I'm doing a postdoc, and so for me, I feel like yes, it's the right place to be, like doing research and continuing with the engaging in conversation where my voice is also heard.
I actually had a student who came to me for asking me exactly what you're saying, but for him, he felt like he was more of an activist, so he felt like being in academia was not really helping because he really wanted change, right? So he was just asking me for advice to say, do you think I should pursue? And I said exactly what Yvette was saying, to say, for me, I feel like if you are a person who wants to see change, or if you are like an activist, given a certain background, like for some of us that maybe you're coming from Africa, for your voice to count, it also helps to have like a certain status, right? So that's what I told this person to say, even now if you quit your school and you start talking about this, people may not take you seriously in a way, but maybe if you reach a certain stage, maybe you become a doctor or you even a professor, you see how if you are a professor, like people, they just come after you. So even if you say nonsense, just because you are, it also carries a certain weight. So I think
the professor said this.
We are not saying nonsense. We are not, but it's true actually where we are coming from. Like those hierarchy count, like the power, it's count. So like the titles. Like I was just to give a story. Like I was just doing my research in Tanzania, and it just reminded me of how when I was finishing my PhD, I told everyone that, you know what, I never thought that I want the title doctor, because like, I don't know, for those who are doing PhD, you know what happened when you start publishing, even just publishing one article, you start getting emails that address you as a doctor, and yet you're not even a doctor. So when I was receiving those emails, I was like, no, I'm not a doctor. I felt like correcting them all the time, but because I felt like, okay, I haven't earned yet the title. But I also, it sort of carried the weight that I felt like, you know, you have that anxiety or that, that are you making sense all the time, and are you really having relevant doctor-related conversation?
Oh my God, you don't want to say that.
When I was about to graduate, because of how hard the whole process was, I was like, when I get that thing, that paper, you guys have to call me doctor. You have to address me properly, like as doctor. So my friend took it seriously, and they were doing it, and then I'm like, oh no, it's fine now, you can stop it. But I realized when I was in Tanzania how that thing is very, very important. I was warned that everyone who has a title doctor, if you don't even address them as doctor, you're doing something wrong.
Injustice.
Oh my God.
So yes,
but I don't call you doctor. I hardly call you doctor.
I think it's okay, really, but if you look at it, depends with the context. I need to get that paper, and then someone will just call you in the
Not to add just a little bit on what we've said so far. I think it's always good to keep on learning. So if you ask me to advise somebody, even though I'm still not done with it, I will tell you I will do it again. It's just a process, but with time, as you learn, you know, with PhD, you get a lot of opportunity. There's always diversity, room to learn new things and then to share with people. So the platform, for instance, will be going to Toronto very soon, and you get opportunity to, you know, people to hear your voice. That voice alone counts. And we are talking about decolonization and all this. And if nobody hears you, if you are not around the table, who sees you? In academia, it's a continuous process sometimes. You do it every time you build upon it, people hear of you, and then, like we said, when people reference you, like, hey, have you seen the reference? We've got number this, we're on this high profile of things. So I think it's really a good feeling. So to be in academia, for me, I've always told my daddy, I don't think about money, like Linda said. It's not about the money. If it's money, I think some of us would have remained being at the banking sector. And it's about the knowledge we share, the people we meet, and then trying to bring a little bit of change, trying to help correct certain things in society that wouldn't happen there.
Thank you, Dilys, but I want to fight with you. And
Okay,
I think fighting with sisters is a lot. There's two things: money, and there's the fight about activists and NGOs. Because I have been one
activist.
Yes, I also believe in what they do, and so basically, I just feel like it's field that can collaborate and talk to each other, but I was just adding.
Saying that, so are you trying to say that when I do a PhD, I have a PhD too, and I can speak to it, but I'm just wondering, there is no money, so why should you be here? Because me, I like money. I want to have a big house, a big car, having fun with my family and all that. So what motivates you to still feel like this is relevant? Is it just the voice? But you can have a voice without money as well, and without PhD, and you have money, because some place when you have money and you drive with your big car, and if I had come here with some big SUV, I'm sure you'd say, my sister, and all those things. So,
as someone who like money, I just want to touch on a few things that all of you mentioned. I think we mentioned the learning that we get, the connection that we get when you're doing PhD, but also the acknowledgement that you get, like that place that you get. That's also open more doors, and it gives us more opportunity to do other things beside academia. So you can still teach, you can still do research, but you can also sort for other research that are not necessary, that brings money, that a consultancy field.
So I should not be afraid
for me
that there is some money.
If you look for, there's no money that just comes to you because you have a PhD. No, everywhere you have to search for the money. Like work hard. Money is there, but you have also to know how you diversify your
profile
and such. Also, when I say it doesn't translate to money, I meant for example, in academia. But the thing is, you having a title actually increases your chance of getting more money, right? Because of the qualification, and if you are also interested in it. There are people who are just comfortable with academia, right? And I've heard a couple of people say if you are an academic, make sure that your partner is not, so that at least you have
so me, I'm in trouble because my partner is in academia.
in terms of money, in terms of stability, and
my husband listen, your sister is fine.
Also started diversifying. That's the way of
maybe I should leave academia for him. I'm like, let me go get the money. You do the job. I'll support you. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I think, like they said, the title really matters somehow, and it adds up to certain things. So you can also go into consultancy.
As we noted, there are ways to diversify, and that could be consultancy, and that could be YouTube. I'm not making money. The way you see, I keep on making some money. YouTube. What else? So there are different ways. Volunteering. Yeah. So it's like you become valuable, not just financially, but also in other ways, and feeling fulfilled. For example, some of us had the dream to be, for example, lecturers, so we felt like we need a PhD to get there. Some wanted to be professors. I don't know if anyone ever wanted to be a professor. And also all those things could be motivation to do a PhD. So I see my sisters are hiding away from the PhD process, and I'll get them back to tell me why they are really hiding from the process. But doing a PhD, I know how tiring, frustrating, and difficult the process is. But I also want to come back to Dilys' point. There are nice things about PhD that we have to also share, like going for conferences, meeting all the big people, meeting all the people you are beginning your journey with, and all that. Yes, is that the nice things about PhD?
For me, if I'm to be honest, I think maybe you know me and you may agree with me. My PhD was not so much hard compared to people around me, and also maybe comparing to where I was coming from, because I was coming from where even the work was really, really tight. So for me, what I found enjoyable about my PhD is I was working at my own pace. I was really structuring my own work to say this is, and I also had good supervisors, let me put it that way, who were really supportive. So, and then at some point, even when I started, it was too good to be true. They just let you work on your own. I'm used to someone
micromanaged.
I don't know micromanaged, but just being managed and reporting to someone. So at some point, I felt like I just needed to be reporting so that I feel like I'm doing something. But my supervisor was just at your own time, at your own pace, which is really nice because you get to find your own rhythm. And the nice thing about that is, as you are doing that, you are also you are writing, like for example, you are producing articles in your name and you're being paid for it, right? So for me, when I started, as I told you, for me it felt like I'm working, but at the end of the day I benefit more. I'm working and then I get a title and then I get. So that has been my experience. And also I was lucky in that I came as an external PhD. That is, I came with my own funding. As I said, I was sponsored from South Africa. So when I came here, I was really fortunate that if I want to, the UVA would be sponsoring me if I want to go to conferences, any conference. So I never really struggled to say there was no money for me because I already had a little bit of money that I was coming with, which is a different experience from other PhDs. So I could go to conferences, and that also really helps you because for some of us maybe that's like a big opportunity to be speaking, as you were talking about your voice. It's a very big platform. So you go to conferences, you meet people from different parts of the world, and you get to share your story. And you know, it is also nice when you meet people and when they validate your story to say it's also important. For me, that how I felt when I came to the Netherlands, especially with English, to say you come to a
English speaking country.
Yes, exactly. And then they tell you, yeah, the way you struggle with English is the same way we also struggle. And you're like, really, white people struggle with English? But yeah, you know, so and then you realize actually back home the way we really value it, and that you are scared of talking because you don't want to make mistakes. Yes, exactly. But here you have that opportunity to make mistakes, and you see other people also making mistakes, and you are learning along the way. So in that regard, it was for me my PhD journey was
beautiful.
Yes, in that regard, I would say.
Okay, so to add on to that, I think some of the fun aspects, apart from the conference that we attend, it's also getting the opportunity to go to different countries. We attend conferences, can be local, but you know, as African or a black scholar coming from Ghana, being here on a PhD opened the doors for me to travel to a lot of places. And now I can boldly go to any embassy and just, you know, submit my documents, and I get my visas so easily because I'm being seen as someone who is highly skilled, who will not go to another country and go and struggle or not be able and not come back. And even if I decide to stay in that country, I'll be well used. I can do something for myself, and the country will benefit from me. It's something it's not easy to get if you are not in academia. So for now, when people see my passport, especially my husband is like, I know your hobby is traveling. So when are you traveling? When are you going here? I said, I'm going here. Next week I'm going. That's like, okay. So the beginning of the year is like asking me, where and when will you go where? Because before you realize, I'm saying, I'm traveling to the UK. I'm going to Netherlands. I'm going here. So that's part of the experience is something I really like. And then like Linda, doctor said, it's like the connection, the network. For me, I like connections. I like network. People to connect to high places. It's very easy for us to access places because of our position and the status we acquired and the network or the link we have with the university. So for me, being at the University of Amsterdam, Vrije University and other places, people recognize us, and they are not scared of giving us certain spaces and opportunity to be there. For me, I think the PhD has been good also, but the struggle is real. You just have to accept it that it's a process, it's a time, but when the good times come, you have to take advantage of it, enjoy it, and then also keep on preparing and building yourself to just go through the process.
I actually like the fact that Dilys talk should also add the struggle, but my point is not even about the struggle, but I'm just saying the struggle because I know she's sharing a very beautiful image and story about how being here it's open also doors, but I also know, and we have read the article, how it's also challenging, the fact that our visa are constantly revoked. It's a struggle that we go through it as well. So yes, it could be that at one point it can facilitate, but I also know that it's not a straightforward process in as much you have been here for ages and all that. those some countries or places or also where it doesn't really matter so much.
It's just about the passport
just
you are
still-
holding, whether
still
it's
have,
a Ghanaian passport, everyone.
Yes, so it could be a different story for Dilys because of maybe
I
who
can
she is and what. But you also have a say in the angle you want to take that research to, and that is very important. Which I never got when I was working in NGO or whatever, because you always feeding into what other want. The agenda is fixed. In academia, the agenda, there's part of it. I can't say it the same way. I was adding to the point of like, there's always a downside to. I can't say that it's fully. How can I say? It's fully your ownership and all that, because you also guide it throughout the process and all that, and they can divert you and all that. But at least there's a huge part of it that it's about a subject that you're interested in. Even from the start, like I know most of us, we don't have agency in the decision of what to take, like what to apply to and not. Sometimes it's about survival. Like I see a lot of PhD opportunity coming my way, and I don't even know which one I can. Sometimes, but I also know that you take a chance to read at the call, think about it, see how you fit, and start to maneuver around and see how your knowledge or how your interests can fit with and align with. And when you start the PhD, you continuously do that, because you are allowed to actually come up with a proposal of how you're going to do that research. So which take you to read the different authors on that specific topic, and you take a stand and you propose channel where you want to conduct your research and all that. That was something that I felt was nice, like having my voice and saying that this is what interests me. And even further, when I got back from my fieldwork and was writing, the writing process, it has always been like, okay, this is what I have.
That's important, what Yvette is saying, right? Because I think, I don't want to generalize, but I think most, especially where I come from, Zimbabwe, that you find there are lots of knowledge migrants. Like there are so many people who migrate because of education, because that's the only way you can leave the country, right? I use my brain, I use my mind to go somewhere else. And in most cases, you just apply for anything and everything.
Exactly. I was going to say that.
So I think, like what Yvette is saying, there is a beauty in you applying for something that you actually say, wow, I love this, right? Because at times you just apply for, I don't know, history or whatever. Oh, you're a historian.
I'm offended.
No, I'm not. I'm not. So I actually dropped history in school. So, but then if you want to move, you find yourself, you apply for something that doesn't even, fit. But for me, I was calling my passion, but it fit very well in that I was working for NGOs with men, right? And the core was on masculinity. So in a way, it just the core was just like Linda written all over. You know when you make those applications, you're like, this is me. So there is a beauty in that, because I know because of the precarity that most Africans, especially now, that they find themselves in, it's not so much that I want to do a PhD, it's where the opportunity is, to move. So yeah.
Thanks so much, sisters. It's very great to have you here. I'm looking forward to a more fun eating. You know me, I like food. So who is hosting us next? Anyway,
Christmas.
Thanks so much. And I'm grateful for your time and everything. Yes. Bye.